Well, our top focus this news wheel is, of course, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's France visit. He is on a 3-day visit to France, and today, on his third day in France, the Prime Minister visited the Mazargues War Cemetery in Marseille and paid homage to soldiers who were killed in the First and the Second World Wars. Exclusive visuals on your screens. The Prime Minister with the French President Emmanuel Macron, and this coming right on the heels of the big AI summit that we saw in Marseille as well. The Prime Minister paying homage, paying tribute to the Indian soldiers who laid down their lives in the First and the Second World War at the Mazargues War Cemetery in Marseille. On the last day of his 3-day visit, the ceremony to pay homage to soldiers who died in the First and the Second World Wars, that took place at the Mazargues War Cemetery. Meanwhile, the Ministry of External Affairs is currently briefing about Prime Minister's visit to France. Let's just quickly listen in to what the Foreign Secretary and the delegation has to say.
Partnership for the planet and partnership for the people. This ongoing visit has further solidified our long-standing partnership in the strategic areas of defense and security, space, civil nuclear cooperation, economic cooperation, and has laid down the markers for its diversification into newer areas of critical and emerging technologies, of innovation, renewable energy, environment, health, education, and culture, and has played a major role in further strengthening the already exceptional bonds that exist between our two countries and between our two peoples. Let me stop there, and I can take a few questions before we have to leave. Thank you.
The floor is open. Jessica? Yeah.
This is Jessica Taneja for DD India. There was a letter of intent signed for SMRs and AMRs, as you were mentioning earlier. Could you tell us a bit more about that?
Sahil?
Sir, I'm Sahil Pandey from ENI News Agency. So you talked about the trilateral format, the cooperation between the countries. How do you look at the future of the trilateral and what projects they would like to converge on?
Okay, let me take these two questions. I think on the letter of intent related to SMRs and AMRs, this is something that's been under discussion for some time. As you're aware, the area of civil nuclear cooperation as such is not a new one between India and France. We've been discussing, for instance, cooperation in the Jaitapur nuclear power project for some time. That, of course, is a very large project. It has multiple aspects related to technology, to finance, also to issues related to civil liability. The area of SMRs and AMRs has come up in more recent times, but has progressed quite quickly, and the reason that you see a letter of intent is because both countries feel that there are real possibilities in taking this forward in the very near future. So the idea on this particular front is to start cooperation, because this is a technology that is still in its initial stages, even in countries which have been working on it for some time, and therefore our intent is to be able to cooperate in co-designing the reactors, co-developing them, and co-producing them. This we
Well, the Foreign Secretary, of course, talking about and elaborating on what Prime Minister Modi exactly told the top French CEOs in Paris as well about modular reactors SMR, the small ones, and the AMRs, that's the advanced modular reactors, talking about private sectors playing their role in the civil nuclear partnership as well. But a few more programs to deepen the India-French ties, they were taken up as well. The two leaders inaugurated the Indian consulate at Marseilles, and Marseilles is a key gateway for India-France ties due to its strategic location on the Mediterranean coast. It is also amongst the entry points for the India-Middle East Europe Economic Corridor, IMEC, a big project when India looks at its own power on the global stage. Now, Prime Minister Modi and French President Emmanuel Macron, they're going to be touring the International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor as well, which is an international nuclear fusion collaboration. Now, the Prime Minister arrived in the French city of Marseilles on Wednesday and co-chaired the AI Action Summit with French President Emmanuel Macron. And here's a quick highlight and a recap from the earlier day and what happened at the AI Summit. Some of those exclusive visuals are on your screens as well. The Prime Minister talking about quality and quantity of bias-free data sets that is supposed to be taken into account. India has been that voice of putting forth not just what the global south wants, but at the same time talking about democratizing artificial intelligence and making it affordable and accessible to everybody. Here's a quick recap of what the first day looked like.
AI is reshaping our polity, our economy, our security, and even our society. AI is writing the code for humanity in this century. India has successfully built a digital public infrastructure for over 1.4 billion people at a very low cost. We have made digital commerce democratic and accessible to all. This vision is the foundation of India's national AI mission. To build on the momentum of this Action Summit, India would be happy to host the next summit. आप सब भारत फ्रांस स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप को भी मजबूती दे रहे हैं। आप सब इनोवेट, कोलैबोरेट और एलिवेट उस मंत्र को लेकर के चल रहे हैं।
So an important 3-day visit of the Prime Minister to France finally coming to an end. The Prime Minister currently sitting with the French President, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, because the Prime Minister, he visited the CMA CGM building, the world's third largest container shipping company headquartered in Marseille. And what you see on that map is, of course, a breakdown of what kind of a key role will the Marseille port play in the India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor, one of those big projects that India bet on during the G20 summit here in New Delhi. As part of that declaration as well, Joe Biden, you've got some of those Arab countries as well, Mohammed bin Salman, of course, everybody betting big on the India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor. The breakdown of that same happening in the third largest shipping, container and logistics company's conference room does go on to show that the project is heading in the right direction when we're talking about actualizing and realizing the potential of something like the IMEC corridor. Well, Prime Minister, he's going to be visiting the United States next. Voucher News 9 to bring you all the latest details, albeit shifting our focus here, because more than 40 years after the crime, a Delhi court has convicted former Congress Member of Parliament Sajjan Kumar in an anti-Sikhs riot case of 1984. Visuals from the Delhi Rouse Avenue on your screens. And the case is related to the killings of two men in Delhi's Saraswati Vihar on the 1st of November back in 1984 during the anti-Sikh riots. Arguments on the quantum of sentence in this case will take place on the 18th of February. The Special Investigation Team, which was probing this case, alleges that Sajjan Kumar, who was then the Congress Member of Parliament for Outer Delhi, led a mob that burnt alive the two Sikh men, Jaswant Singh and his son Tarundeep Singh, and destroyed and looted their houses acting on his directions. Sajjan Kumar's counsel argued that the complainants, the wife and mother of the victims, had claimed to be an eyewitness in the case after a long delay of 7 years, and that their testimonies were therefore unreliable. But widespread riots, they broke out in Delhi and other parts of the country after the then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, who was assassinated by two Sikh bodyguards. The FIR in this case was registered back in 1991 on the basis of an affidavit dated the 9th of September 1985 given by the complainant before the Justice Ranganath Mishra Commission. And on the 4th of December 2021, the Rouse Avenue Court of Special Judge M.K. Nagpal framed the charges against the accused for the offences of murder, rioting with a deadly weapon, unlawful assembly and attempt to commit culpable homicide. Sajjan Kumar is currently lodged in Tihar jail, serving a life sentence handed down by the Delhi High Court back in 2018 in a case related to the killing of 5 Sikhs. In September 2023, a Delhi court acquitted Sajjan Kumar in a case related to the murder of 7 people from the Sikh community in Sultanpuri during the 1984 riots.
ये सज़ा हुई है, जब कन्विक्ट हुआ है और अब सज़ा दी जाएगी। और ये मैं समझता हूँ कि जो शरेआम जो सिखों का 40 साल पहले कत्लेआम किया, जिसको लीड कर रहा था सज्जन कुमार, 40 साल से इंसाफ मांग रहे थे, और ये कहीं ना कहीं वो जो जख्म है उनके ऊपर मलहम लगाने का काम जो आज होगा, ये इसके लिए मैं जज साहब का, कोर्ट का धन्यवाद करता हूँ। और मैं साथ में देश के प्रधानमंत्री, गृह मंत्री जी श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी, अमित शाह जी का धन्यवाद करता हूँ कि जिन्होंने जब ये कांग्रेस की सरकार गई और भाजपा की सरकार आई, मोदी साहब प्रधानमंत्री बने, उन्होंने एसआईटी बनाई और ये जो केस थे जो क्लोज कर दिए गए थे, जो अनट्रेस कर दिए गए थे, उनके ऊपर दोबारा जो इनकी री इन्वेस्टिगेशन हुई और उस री इन्वेस्टिगेशन में ये जो आज जो कन्विक्शन हुई है, ये उसी का नतीजा है।
Today, the CBI Special Court Judge Kaveri Baveja has convicted Sajjan Kumar for the murder of 2 Sikhs in 1984, Sikh genocide. Now, this is a case involving the murder of Jaswant Singh and his son Tarandeep Singh. Now, this case was closed by the police. It was reopened after the this Modi government appointed SIT in 2015. This case was reopened. Now, we are so grateful to the court. We are also grateful to the public prosecutor Manish Rawat and the IO Jagdish Kumar, who worked very hard on this. I am also grateful to my colleague Kamra Bora and Gurbakh Singh, who have also worked very hard on this. Now, on 18th February, the court will pronounce the sentence.
1984 के सिख कत्लेआम केस में आज सज्जन कुमार को एक और केस में कोर्ट ने दोषी करार दिया। कोर्ट ने माना कि जसवंत सिंह जो सरस्वती विहार पुलिस स्टेशन 1991 की FIR है उसमें वो दोषी हैं, उन्होंने उसका कत्लेआम किया। 1984 के अंदर जिस तरह से बेरहमी से सिखों के गले में टायर डालकर कांग्रेस ने आग लगाने का काम किया, आज एक एक करके वो सारे पाप उनके सामने आ रहे हैं। लगातार गांधी परिवार और कांग्रेस सज्जन कुमार, जगदीश टाइटर, HKL भगत या कमलनाथ को बचाती रही है। मैं धन्यवाद करता हूं देश के प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी का, जिन्होंने विशेष तौर पर SIT बनाकर और इन सब लोगों को जेलों में डालने का काम किया और परमात्मा ने आज इंसाफ दिया है।
Well, my colleague Piyush Pandey joins us from the Supreme Court premises. Piyush, help the viewers understand, because we're looking at the change of guard and a dispensation here in the national capital. People are hailing this decision that's come out from the Delhi Rouse Avenue Court. But what was the role of Sajjan Kumar when we're tracing the 1984 anti-Sikh riots? How did this special investigation team really collect the evidences that they put forth in front of the court? And when we're looking at the prosecution's arguments, what were some of the main arguments that the prosecution put forth?
Basically, prosecution says armed mob restored a large scale looting, arson and destruction of properties of Sikhs to avenge basically assassination of former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. The mob killed Singh and his son. Basically, father and son was killed on the time. And the prosecution also says, says basically the house ablazed. The court today ordered to convicted Sajjan Kumar, and court found sufficient material to form prima facie opinion that he was not only participant but had also led the mob. Actually, today court convicted Sajjan Kumar, and after few days, basically 18th of February, court will pronounce the conviction. Court will pronounce the sentencing, and on that day, the argument also final argument will also given by prosecution and defense counsel. 18th of February. Today, Delhi Rouse Avenue Court convicted former Congress MP Sajjan Kumar in a 1984 anti-Sikh riots case. The case is linked with the killing of father-son duo in the national capital's Saraswati Vihar area on November 1st, 1984. The matter has been listed for arguments on sentencing on February 18. Sajjan Kumar is currently serving a life sentence in another anti-Sikh riot case in Delhi Kent.
All right, Piyush Pandey bringing us the latest details from the Supreme Court premises. It is going to be interesting to see what the quantum of sentencing looks like on the 18th of February, and of course how the BJP, that is now going to be the ruling dispensation in the national capital, how will they target the Congress party when it comes to Sajjan Kumar, a former Congress member of parliament who's now been convicted in that anti-Sikh riots case of murdering two people, a father and son. But meanwhile, another story that we're tracking, again coming from the Supreme Court, because the Apex Court has condemned today the practice of announcing freebies right before elections, and has come down heavily and said that people are not willing to work because they are getting free ration and money. Now, the remarks were made by a bench of Justices B.R. Gevai and Augustine George Massey, which was hearing a case related to the right to shelter of homeless persons in urban areas. Now, Justice Gevai said that unfortunately, because of these freebies, the people are not willing to work. They are getting free rations, they are getting amount without doing any work. And this is not the first time that the Apex Court has pulled up the centre over freebies. Last year, it had asked the centre and the Election Commission to respond to a petition challenging the practice of political parties offering freebies during election campaigning. Meanwhile, political parties have relied heavily on these freebie-centric schemes to gain votes. Take a look at some of the recently held assembly elections. Evident in the recently concluded Delhi assembly elections as well. Freebie versus welfare, that was one of the poll issues that was setting the narrative in the run-up to the polling day. Moving on, An unfortunate story that in fact is coming out of Kerala's Kottayam. Now the Kerala police, it has arrested 5 students of the Government College of Nursing in Kottayam for allegedly subjecting first-year students to brutal sorts of ragging. Now it is said that the accused have subjected the first-year students to brutal harassment for more than 3 months on end. The police said that the accused will be produced before the magistrate by Wednesday afternoon, and the college authorities have also suspended these 5 students in question. Now, the college principal took action after investigating the Anti-Ragging Act, and it is said that the accused have subjected the first-year students to brutal harassment for more than 3 months. The survivors had been remaining silent due to fear of retaliation by these senior students. Finally, 3 first-year students approached the police after enduring extreme physical and mental abuse. According to the complaint filed at the Gandhinagar police station, third-year students forced their juniors to lift dumbbells using their private parts. They inflicted injuries with sharp objects, including a compass as well. Continuous mental and physical torture. Moving on, the Indian Air Force expressed its frustration over the delays in the delivery of Tejas Mk-1A fighter jets at the Aero India show in Bengaluru this week. The Indian Air Force ordered 83 of these advanced jets to address a critical shortfall in its fleet of fighter squadrons. However, the delayed deliveries have raised concerns, particularly regarding the role of Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, the state-owned aerospace company responsible for producing these 83 jets. Whilst inspecting an aircraft at the Air Force show, the Air Force Chief, Air Chief Marshal A.P. Singh, was heard expressing his dissatisfaction with the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. He told officials from the company, "I can only tell you what our requirements and our worries are. At the moment, I am just not confident of Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, which is a very wrong thing to happen. HAL is our own company. We all have worked there. I have also served there. I find that we are just not in mission mode. Everything is ho jayega, it will happen attitude." And in response to ACM Singh's remarks, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited Chairman and Managing Director D.K. Sunil addressed the concerns, emphasizing that the delay was not caused due to laziness as suggested by the Air Chief Marshal, but by technical issues that have now been resolved and ironed out. Sunil said, "The delay is not simply attributable to just, I would say, laziness or part of the industry. There have been technical issues which have gotten sorted out. The concern of the Air Chief is understandable." And take a look at this. Environmentalists in Thailand expressed their disappointment after US President Donald Trump signed an executive order to bring back plastic drinking straws, pushing back efforts by his predecessor Joe Biden to phase out single-use plastics and tackle waste. The Thai environmentalists say that in the Thai Upper Andaman Sea, the percentage of endangered marine animals affected by plastic pollution rose by roughly 30 to 40% as of 2023, up from 20% which was witnessed in 2021, according to Thailand's Department of Marine and Coastal Resources. According to OECD, remember, the amount of plastic waste dumped into the environment is projected to rise from 81 million metric tons in 2020 to as much as 119 million tons in 2040.
Disappointed with the policy because, in reality, the government should lead these issues, especially the United States, as one of the world's most powerful countries.
It's not just plastic straws versus paper straws. It's not just these two options. It's about a single-use culture versus a reuse culture. When we talk about plastic straws or any single-use items, we need to push for more reuse. Raising awareness about single-use consumption, regardless of the material, should be the focus.
Now, in a groundbreaking study, researchers have discovered that microplastics can travel through the brains of mice, block blood vessels, and mimic the effects of blood clots, potentially leading to fatal outcomes or significant disruptions in brain functioning. Now, the findings, published in a peer-reviewed paper, mark the first time scientists have used real-time imaging to track how these tiny plastic particles move and accumulate in brain blood vessels. The study revealed that when one microplastic particle became lodged in a vessel, others piled up behind it, creating a blockage similar to a car crash or a pileup. This accumulation reduced the blood flow, which researchers believe could explain the observed decline in motor functions in the mice exposed to microplastics. Now, while previous studies have linked microplastics to neurotoxicity, this research is the first to suggest a potential mechanism: reduced blood flow to the brain. Microplastics are tiny plastic particles either intentionally added to consumer products or resulting from the breakdown of larger plastics. Recent research has shown that microplastic accumulation in human brains has increased significantly over the past 8 years, and these particles are associated with a higher risk of heart attack, cancer, and brain dysfunction, including conditions like Parkinson's disease. Now, the authors of this particular study in question, they caution that it's unclear whether the same effects would occur in humans as well, as human blood vessels are larger and blood flow rates are higher than that of mice. Still, the study strongly suggests that microplastics pose serious risks to cardiovascular and brain health. Meanwhile, in a mesmerizing spectacle, lava spewing from the Bocca Nuova crater of Mount Etna illuminated the snowy surroundings of the volcano's summit on the east coast of Sicily. Visuals from Italy on your screens. The National Institute of Geophysics and Volcanology of Catania located the emission of lava at an estimated altitude of about 3,000 meters above the sea level between the base of the Bocca Nuova crater and the southeast crater. And according to volcanologists, the current eruption is a typical subterminal eruption, as it comes from a fracture and not from one of the main craters of the volcano. The 3,330 meter high volcano is the tallest in Europe and is believed to have the longest documented history of eruptions amongst all volcanoes, with records dating back to 425 BC. That's the fracture that you see, about 3,300 meters above the sea level. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Newswheel. Top developments continue on the other side. Keep watching News9.